So, Adriel, a lot of agencies right now are worried about how they're going to be generating leads. Most of them are prioritizing inbound leads, but I know that you just recently did a little webinar about agencies using outbound prospecting as a way to generate those leads. Could you maybe fill us in a little bit about how and why we go about doing outbound?
Yeah, well, a lot of it was from my personal experience in the agency world for 9 years. And I mean, like a lot of agencies use similar methods to get leads in. Your standard standbys are business groups, past employees, word of mouth, award-winning work, that kind of thing. That's typically how you get most of your business in, but it's not enough to like really accelerate it to the speed that a lot of agencies want to grow at. So that's where they start getting into a lot of them move to inbound marketing. So they start doing blog posts and podcasts and YouTube videos and that kind of thing. But if you're in the agency land, you look around and Google some of the phrases you want to rank on. You'll probably find other agencies doing the same thing.
Yeah,
It's a very competitive space.
it's a little
They're all
crowded.
yeah. Well, the problem is that you're competing against marketing agencies in the field of marketing. So yeah, it's hard. There's a bit of competition in there, so it can be tough for agencies to generate the number of leads that they want just using those standard methods. So that's why I think a lot of them are starting to look into just using outbound prospecting.
Right, and especially because, like you said, just relying on those inbound methods, especially singular one-off award-winning campaigns or word of mouth, or like you said, sort of wading into the noisy sea of different kinds of SEO methods and things like that. Um, yeah, you're not going to stand out. So outbound
Yeah.
could be the way to scale then, right?
I mean, if you were to like, and again, if you were to start an agency today, like today, you're okay. I'm going to start a marketing agency. I'm going to strike it out on my own. How would you get your first customers? You'd probably look through your LinkedIn. You'd probably look at like friends and family, people you've worked with in the past, maybe industries that you specialize in, and I've watched this one company, and I think I could like really kick some ass with their
Hmm.
marketing or whatever the case might be. I think that you would go outbound. You would start reaching out like as that sole proprietor. You would start reaching out to those companies, and you might have some success because you would have a very compelling pitch to send out to them, rather than like broad based marketing where you're just advertising or using SEO and getting a lot of people to read your blog post
Hmm.
about web design, but not necessarily like the right kinds of prospects. So it's a very targeted way of getting the ideal prospect in. Ideally, um, you've done such a good job on pre-qualification that the people you reach out to, they're already pre-qualified. They're already the right businesses to work for, and you don't have to do that disqualification step that you'd need to do with a lot of other lead sources.
Okay, so the next step then might be getting yourself some SDRs or BDRs to sort of go with that same approach. What can we expect of an SDR or a BDR in this position?
An SDR or a BDR that's like tuned. You've got a good pitch, good list, and they're hitting their stride. 10 to 20 bookings a month kind of a thing. 10 to 20 like appointments set or demos or whatever the case, however which way you're measuring the appointments on that side of things.
Mhm.
I would encourage if you're a sole prop to try to do it yourself, because there might be some changes that you have to make early on with that process. That'll be a little bit faster for you to make if you're the sole proprietor, and because if you're just starting out, you probably have to like make changes to your service level and that kind of thing based on feedback. If you're an existing company, you might be able to take that and start up an SDR core and start adding those people on. But same idea there. If you're just starting out as an agency, you might want to start with one SDR BDR,
Mhm.
one well qualified one, because you're going to need to change, and you need to really focus your time in and make sure that you're adapting to what the market's demanding. And I mean, yeah, getting an SDR BDR is an important step there. Finding your list of
Mhm.
qualified prospects. So you'd want to discover which kinds of companies you should be working with. That could be based on a couple of different things. Like a lot of traditional like marketing agencies will focus on their local area, so they'll focus on a city, and they'll get most of their work from that city. A couple jobs here and there outside, but they'll focus on their city. Some other marketing agencies will focus on an industry vertical, and
Mhm.
they'll like specialize in it. And I think that that's a great way of getting clients out as well. But yeah, you have to build a list that's full of qualified customers that are ideal for you to work with.
Right. Okay. So you're gonna build your list. You're gonna identify a segment or a region. You're going to test out the process yourself if you're a single proprietor in
Hmm.
this endeavor. If you own a company already, sort of fine tune your process, and then go forward with an SDR or BDR.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that improvise, adapt, and overcome is going to be part of
Mm,
the early parts there, because the first pitch that you might come up with might not work. It might have to be something totally different, and I think that it's important being able to change there and being able to flex. So when you go to hire an SDR, BDR for that role, you want someone who's able to change. Like that's a personality thing. Some people are great at like executing against like a known thing. I think that you would need someone who's a little bit thinking on their feet and able to make changes and roll with the changes very
mhm.
easily, because there's going to be some.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, you're going to need a suite of tools or different kinds of methods and automations to make all this kind of happen, right? And to
I
make it
mean, yeah,
consistent.
it's labor intensive. Like the thing with outbound prospecting, it works, but it's really labor intensive. You
Hmm.
have to like there's a numbers game here. You need to make calls, emails, LinkedIn outreaches. You need to like do all of these things at volume in order to make this work. Still with quality though, because like
Hmm.
we're not just doing like broad cramming out as many emails as possible. We're doing it with quality to get the best possible result from a qualified list. Um, yeah, and I think that the best way to do that is with tools. Tools assisted outbound prospecting is how you're going to be able to hit that volume, hit that stride, and still deliver the quality touch points that you need to.
All right. I've done prospecting on both ends of it, right? With a pen, paper, my cell phone, and maybe an Excel document, and then all the way to using something like Funnelflare or other sales automation platforms. And I can definitely tell you consistency and repeatability of labor is the important thing there.
I think it takes away from having to think about all the things all the time. Like I hate having to juggle
Hmm.
priorities and rebooking things and scheduling things. And I think having a working off of a sequence and having the automation handle the sequence and just telling me when to make the calls and when to do the outreach. I think that's nice, because then I don't have to like re-gear in every time I touch an account,
Hmm.
because every time I touch an account, like there's switching costs in there. I've got to, okay, is it time to talk to these guys? What do these guys do again? Oh yeah, what was my pitch? Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, that was my compelling. Like every time you
Yeah.
do a touch point, it comes with that baggage.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that like there's some cool things you can do with automation. I mean, coming back to that sequencing, like one of the things I was thinking about was just how I would do that if I was say I was working for a website redevelopment company, and I was sending emails out and reaching out to and B2B companies to try to redevelop their website. With Funnelflare, I would probably use a sequence where I had a couple of things that I could do in it. Maybe I could, let's say I added all those new contacts to a new list. Maybe I could do a data enrichment step where the software can go out and find me their LinkedIn, find me their Twitter, find me their bio, kind of like pop that all into a contact area,
Hmm.
and then add them to a call list. Start making out those outbound calls based on whether I connect with them or not. I can change what I do if I don't manage to connect with them. Again, I'm trying to sell a website. I might do like an automatic screen capture of their website. Now, this is fraught with danger because not the screen capture bit, but the pitch afterwards.
Yeah.
So I've captured their screen cap of their website. I wait 3 days, then I send an email with the website pic. I can do this really wrong, and I can really cheese someone off, or I could do it right, and they would see it as okay. I think a lot of people immediately defaults to your website sucks and I can make it better. And you only have to do that for a while to find out that people get really mad every once in a while when you do this. For some of them, for like the marketing people that worked on that website, that
Hmm.
might be their baby, and you just called their baby ugly.
Yeah. No one
Oh,
wants to hear that.
oh. And it can be a terrible pitfall. The way that we like to do it, and the way that many of our customers have had success with it, is in they put the picture there and then say, "Hey, is it time to work on your website? Is it time to enhance it? Is it?" There's always room for improvement, but you can't call the baby ugly. But you can put a picture there, and that picture just by itself might be like, "Ah." maybe they thought of it as their baby, but putting the picture there, they can decide whether it's ugly or not, and they can decide what to do with it.
Yeah, the
So
recontextualization makes it a little more objective in
yeah,
that
yeah,
sense.
exactly. And I think doing this kind of thing helps with response rates as well because you're making it a little bit more personal.
Mhm.
And then maybe I'd wait a few days, maybe message them on LinkedIn, maybe add them back to the call list. I could build a sequence like this. So I don't have to think about, is it time to send them a picture, an email with a picture of their website? Is it time to reach out on LinkedIn? Is it time to call them again or anything like that? I can just have the sequence handle it and get better consistency that way, and do it at scale as well.
Right. And you can also you can prove what's working and what's not working with A/B testing as you develop your campaigns over time. You can actually
And
compare the
optimize it.
stats. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have all
Is
the
it better to
reporting
call
there.
first? Is it better to email? Is it better to LinkedIn? I can compare those different
Yeah.
campaigns against each other and find out and know for sure which one's working correctly. Yeah,
Yeah. And without something like that, you're just kind of going in the dark.
exactly.